First of all, I want to say, Kyle, thank you so much for reaching out to me. Holy shit. I've just had so much on my plate with Fantastic Fest, and I got around to watching the movie, and I was blown away. I had so much fun. This is the type of stuff that like I seek out. Like if
Mm.
I do work in production, but like this is the stuff that I aspire to make. Like I'm jealous that someone else made this. So
Wow, thank you. That's
That's
really
really
cool.
nice.
Thank you. That's really nice to hear.
Yeah, that's kind of you to say. Thank you.
not a problem at all. Right off the bat, what I want to get into is the opening long take. It immediately sets the tone. Um, and what it reminds me of, and I'm curious if this was inspiration. Uh, it reminded me of American Pie, the opening scene from American Pie, before shifting into something much more darker. What made you want to start the movie that way? And am I right as far as the inspiration?
Well, yeah, it's kind of I'll let John kind of speak to it, but originally in the script, it was a much smaller kind of intimate house party thing because I just didn't think we could pull off a party. But John was like, no, we need to start this movie big. Let's start it. And I've never seen American Pie, but John has. And that's kind of how John was describing it was like, feel like American Pie kind of an opening. I'm like, I don't know what that is, but okay. So John kind of had this grand idea to open it. Actually, but John's idea is both the that beginning scene and the kind of epic climax with the truck and everything. That was also John's kind of visionary idea. So yeah, I'll let John kind of speak to the that party sequence.
Yeah, we were like looking at locations and kind of talking about it, a more contained version of that first, and like frat houses and different and sort of the way things were laid out in the script and just how it was going to look and the fact that it was the opening to the film, and I was like, man, we just need this grand, huge thing. Like it's got to be really big, and then also that'll help the story, with Billy feeling like overwhelmed and just the whole context of everything. There's like pretty girls and the situation he's in is like magnified, hopefully, by this, feeling like this is a legit big party. So you're
Yeah.
already kind of like, and he's like a fish out of water. So it's kind of all those things. And just because, you know, we want to elevate everything the best of our ability, and we're like, okay, we wanted it to open and feel big.
We
Yeah.
wanted to avoid it feeling like a classic kind of indie movie that you automatically, as soon as you start, we felt like we need to set the expectation of this is a real movie and not just like a small indie film where people are like, oh, okay, I know what this is gonna be like, but try to subvert those expectations of like
Yeah.
not being like, oh yeah, it's just like three people in a house.
Big needle drop, big shot.
Yeah,
And it's like, whoa, okay, this is maybe different. And
yeah.
hopefully that comes across that way.
Yeah, I will say that it definitely did. It immediately you can feel the value. Like it sets the tone, but at the same time, it sets you up in a way that it's clever because you're introducing everybody. The pieces are kind of falling, and I thought it was really a really cool idea. Like you structurally, the movie starts with a party, it ends with one. Billy is transformed. Was that important for both of you to for that payoff in such like I guess like a complete way, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely important. I mean, that was kind of the whole, even in the beginning, when we didn't have it as like a massive party, it was still a small party. We still had those kind of moments with the chocolate milk and with him like looking in the mirror and feeling discouraged and what happens at the end.
Yeah.
Trying to really like, for us, we always love those moments in movies where you have those little subtle setups and then you have the payoffs later. It just makes it feel more full circle and like the writing was intentional and clever and it like that things had a point and that these were the themes that the way the characters changed throughout the story, particularly Billy. So yeah, we tried to be smart about like why we were showing what we were showing at the beginning, so that when it comes back at the end, you
Yeah.
feel like, oh, there was transformation and there
Yeah.
was intentionality behind it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely, man. That's one of the things that really stuck out to me. And kind of like what you were pointing out, like by making that grandiose scene, it just made it that much more impactful. Bad Haircut, it has such a wild mix of tones. It's funny, it's quotable, it's absurd, it's also creepy and unsettling. How do you balance those shifts so the audience never knows what's coming, but they still stay hooked because as a viewer, like in for example, we're talking about the intro, you are immediately shifted into something else completely different. And so at first I was like, what the hell's happening? But then it just became the common theme, and it made it that much more fun of a ride because of that.
That's good.
Good.
That's what
Yeah.
we hope for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
No, we appreciate that. So your question was like how we balance the tone, basically.
Yeah, because like I
Yeah.
mean, people try it, right? But you guys succeeded obviously. So
Thank
what's
you.
the secret? What's the secret sauce?
Man, that's a good question. I think we knew what we wanted going into it. Like we knew that this was going to be a thriller comedy, and we had a good example. We always talk about this movie Disturbia as
Mhm.
kind of a good reference for us because we wanted to make a movie like that would be basically like a fun roller coaster ride of a movie for teens and young adults and whoever, but that kind of being our target audience. And that movie really always stood out to me because it hit that perfect chord of thriller, but had situational humor and comedy to it, and kind of that romance thread. And I think knowing that that was kind of like, okay, I've seen it done successfully before. We just have to make sure, like when we're doing the jokes, we always told the cast never wink at the camera, in meaning like don't or never wink to the audience. We didn't want it to feel like the
Yeah.
actors were in on the joke
Mhm.
because it would kind of take away, like if you're trying to be tongue in cheek, it's not going to feel as authentic. We wanted to still feel very serious and like there's stakes,
Steaks.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's weight to everything. And I think we knew that that would make it more funny when they're in these absurd situations because it's real. Um, and then really we just relied heavily on casting the right people.
Yeah, I would say the big thing too really is like is knowing what being able to keep it grounded and like knowing what grounded is like in this universe, and then like what Kyle just said, the other thing with that is just like good acting, like
Yeah.
casting the right people, and because that's what it is. It's never going to feel genuine or authentic or grounded if they can't do that. And I know we were super fortunate there because Spencer and everyone were able to kind of pull you back into this thing. And I think what we hopefully we're able to do is find this common thread or this centerpiece, like this is grounded,
Yep.
and bring people back there, enough so that it's not just over the top all the time, or too much where it floats away. So hopefully that was the case.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And the cast is exceptional. Like it was like a who's who of like next in line. A lot of these people I've either interviewed or I've wanted to interview, and it's so like it was fun for me because I'm like, oh shit, I know him and them, and
And that's great.
That's cool.
yeah, it was
There's
it
a
was
lot of talented young people, man. A lot of these people are really, they're gonna, I think, do great things, and some of them already are. It's really neat.
Yeah.
exactly. And like even with the cameos, like Mindy Sterling, Larry Hankin, Kevin Dunn, Rob Racco, like
Yeah.
they all felt very organic rather than stunt casting because that's always one of my big complaints with especially horror movies today is that a lot of those let's shoehorn this guy in. I
Yeah.
fucking hate that. But with
Yeah. Yeah.
with this, it felt very a very refreshing approach to bringing those faces in without breaking the flow of the story. So, like, how did you guys get all of those people involved? Or were those like, hey, this is our big film. We're gonna like let's do make some like let turn it in the what do you call it the favors, if you will.
Yeah, it was, I mean, we were just really fortunate. There were some people like Larry I'd known for like 8 years prior to shooting this. So he's always on board for anything I'm doing, which is really nice and great. We have a good relationship. So I wrote that part with him in mind. And so he was in from the get-go. And then with Mindy's role, that was written. I knew I wanted somebody like her. I just didn't know if were going to be able to get her. So it's just kind of one of those things where we reached out to her management and we're like, hey, here's what we're doing. This is what we have to offer. I know it's not like anything crazy. This isn't Austin Powers money or anything, but
Yeah,
it's just a day of filming or whatever it was, and we'd love for her to be in this movie because it like we tried not to just make it feel like you were saying we're just gonna reach for anybody and everybody. It had to be a very specific person.
Yeah.
And I mean, with all of the roles, like because this is a thriller comedy, we knew we needed people that were good actors, but also were inherently funny. And so obviously we kind of talked about the younger generation cast that are very new, and those were the really difficult people to find
Yeah.
because they've not been in anything really. But some of the veteran people, it's like I know Mindy from Austin Powers. She's hilarious. She's exactly the kind of person we want for this character. And so it's just a matter of reaching out. And same thing with like
Jake
Jake
Busey.
Busey, another very
Yeah, yeah.
funny actor. And he plays that role so straight in the movie. Like he is, but it's so absurd, like what's happening. But that is like what was the magic of him contributing to that. And everybody ad-libbed so many lines in this movie. I mean, majority of it is the structure is there of what was in the script, but the words themselves have so far varied from what it was originally because they improvised so much. But
Hurry, time's over, psycho.
like that was all made up. And then with Martin Kleba, like I did not think we were going to be able to get him because we needed him for like multiple weeks of filming this, and we didn't really have very much to offer. Again, it's a small project, but I don't even know how much I'm allowed to say, but I'll say it. I had reached out to his manager, and he's just like, "Hey, this isn't going to work out. Like, it's just not enough. Like, we can't do
He's
that."
in Pirates of the Caribbean, so no.
Yeah, so we're like, hey, well, I really would like you to just ask him about it. And he's like, no, like, can't do that. So I ended up reaching out to Martin on Cameo because I saw he was on there, and I messaged him, and then he just gave me his phone number, and then
He's
I
also
called
from
him.
Michigan. He's a fellow
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Michigan.
He's a fellow Michigan guy.
Yeah.
So I think he liked that, but he didn't know me at all. Like we didn't know each other. And so I called him and I was like, hey, we're doing this movie. And he was basically just agreed to it on the phone. I'm like, are you sure? Like I was kind of thinking that this is gonna fall through.
Yeah.
But he stuck through and then he actually showed up and we made the movie and he was there.
We were also in a unique spot too, where we were in and around the actors strike.
Yeah.
So we had to get a waiver, which we got, which was a miracle because no one was getting them, not
Yeah.
even big movies. And we got it hours before we had to cancel all the flights from all the actors. Literally, like within that day, we were going to cancel like basically the movie. Maybe we had all the sets built and everything. So,
Yeah.
But because of, I don't know if it's because of that, but
People were more
maybe-
available during that time.
yes,
But also it was way harder to get
people.
because of without the waiver you couldn't work, and people didn't
Couldn't
want to get fired
communicate.
from SAG because
Yeah.
they're like, like you technically have it, but he didn't care, and we had the waiver, so it was fine. I shouldn't say he didn't care. We had the waiver. He wasn't afraid because he knew we had that, and so he didn't care in that sense. But yeah, and then you mentioned Kevin Dunn, he was he did the voice of the cop on the phone in those couple of scenes, and again, like that was kind of in post. We're like, man, we need a cop voice. Like, who has a voice that has that kind of familiarity and would just be, but also is funny, and but can be just like a solid actor. So we talked about Kevin Dunn because growing up with Transformers and Small Soldiers and all these things, he has such a recognizable voice, and he's a very funny actor, but a great dramatic actor. So again, it kind of came down to like looking for people that had those two qualities that we admired their work, and then he agreed to do it. So he actually recorded that in Texas, where he's from, the voiceover. I think he's from Austin, actually. And we did that, and it was great. It was really cool to do
Should have
that.
invited him to this.
I did.
Good man.
For what it's worth, Kleba was one of my favorite things about the film. This is like one of the few roles where he actually gets to show his range, and so I made a note of that in my review because we all know him. We've seen him in everything, but it's like this film in particular, he gets to kind of actually, spread his wings. It's nice to see. But jumping from that, one of the other things that really stood out to me is, and it's I have to mention it because of when I went to high school. The soundtrack, it's a standout, man. And we got Flow Rida, Get Low, Space Hog, Hearts Alone, and one of the most crucial scenes in the film. How did you guys curate the music so it worked both with nostalgia, but also it's very emotional? Like there's this emotional fabric from start to finish. So it gave me like weird goosebumps, like when Space Hog popped up. I was like, damn, dude, these guys know what the fuck they're doing. Like, I need to pay attention.
That's good. That's cool. Well, yeah, so I'll speak and I'll let John kind of tailor it from there. But from the beginning, we knew like getting songs is going to be really difficult because they're very expensive.
Yeah.
But we knew like I really wanted the Rock Me Amadeus track for the opening credits. And then John really wanted Space Hog for the end. Like I remember when he showed that to me, and he's like, dude, I think this is the end the end credits song. Like, I think this is the ending. And I listened to it with him, and I'd never heard it before, or maybe I'd heard it, but I wasn't familiar with it. And I was like, man, yeah, that feels right. Like for this movie, it feels right. So we knew that. But then our editor, Ben Mills, when he was doing the edit for us, he he just took a bunch of tracks that he liked and put them in the movie. So then when we watched the first cut with him, we're like,
Yeah.
dang, now we can't unhear that. And we
Probably
like
as
it.
like placeholders, maybe.
Yeah,
Dude.
well, he was like, this would be perfect. This would be perfect. And then we ended up, because he did that, we're like, well, what if we put low in this scene?
Yeah.
And then we kind of like went
Miss
and
New Booty. Was that one? That's still in there.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is.
So it was like it was just what felt right, and what a combination of what Ben had put in and what we had, and then finding like, oh, this is a perfect track, or the opening track of the movie at the start of the party. That was a tricky one to find because we needed, with that being a oneer, it had to be something where we couldn't cut to the music. The
Yeah.
music had to be custom fit like to that shot. So I mean, hopefully it feels kind of seamless, but we went through so many tracks trying to find like, when does the lyrics dip so that he can give his line, and then when he like shoots the ping pong ball, when does the music like drop? Like it's such a specific timed thing, and that song just fit perfect for what we wanted, and felt like the right feel. And we wanted the movie to have kind of a timeless sort of
Yeah.
nostalgic, eclectic kind of feel. But yeah, I don't know, John, if you want to add anything to that.
No, that's pretty much it. I mean, yeah.
Kind of took everything.
No. But in the meantime, I mean, I love Space Hog, and I remember I had the script, and I just was listening to that song one day. I was like, dude, that's the freaking thing. That's it. This has got to be it. Just the way it starts. It's
Mhm.
like when he's looking in the mirror, the whole thing. I was like, this is perfect here. Hope it cuts well together. And then we were driving to pick up props, or I don't know what we were doing. We were going some place together. I was like, dude, just take it in for
I was skeptical because I'm really picky about
Yeah.
music stuff, and I don't generally like a lot of
My heart was
things.
already set on it, so I'm like,
But
dude,
he was trying to be very gentle with it, and then
Yeah.
once I heard it, I was like,
I was
yeah,
like, please,
it
God,
does feel
don't
like
screw this
the
up.
end of a movie. Like
Yeah.
it feels right.
Well, that and like the combination of like when the title card comes in, it just feels so sexy. Yeah, I loved it. I loved it,
Thanks.
man. That's so dope, dude. Like I felt what you guys were trying to do, and it worked. And I know you guys have a lot going on today, and I have a just maybe a few more questions, and then I'll get out of your hair.
Dude,
But
man, isn't it when the title card comes out, isn't it like in Breakfast Club, you just want to put your arm up?
that's
When that
yeah, man. Like it's one of those moments where like you're like, fuck, I know this song. And
Yep.
but then it's also like this is like it just feels like it you went on the ride with everybody and now it's just time to chill. Like that's
Yeah.
ultimately how I felt. And yeah, I couldn't have picked a better song. Like it's
Thanks.
I mean, I don't even know why Kyle
Like
was
the
here.
bow wrap, man. It wraps it's tied bow.
What
Yeah,
makes us so happy to hear that you like the soundtrack, because that's like one thing, without, we don't have our distribution yet, and that's kind of been like a wrestle of like, will we have to lose the songs because we can't afford to we licensed them all for film festivals. We
Yeah,
hired
yeah.
a music advisor, and we have all the quotes, so we have approval on them, but we have to pay that fee when we
Yeah.
get distribution. And so we're like really fighting to hold on to it. So whenever we hear someone like yourself that
Good
reviews it,
affirmation.
that it makes us like want to fight all the harder to keep the soundtrack as it is intact.
Well, for what it's worth, I used to work at a music store and now I work in production. So if you guys want to like after this, because I know you guys are going to get distribution, if you guys want to bounce like ideas off of me and be like, does this still work? I'd be happy to do that, man. Just because like
Thank
I
you.
I really I thoroughly enjoyed this film and I can't wait for more people to see it. And one of the things that I like, the soundtrack was great, the cast was great, but one of the most unpredictable and magnetic characters we can't not talk about him is Mick. You know, I can't think of anyone in recent memory that has like caught me so off guard where I'm just like, I can't tell if I
Same
love
here.
him. Yeah. I don't know if I love him or if I'm scared of him because he's like endearing but creepy as hell. What was your process on like shaping him? Because both visually, because I get like D. Snyder meets Silence of the Lambs, but then also too his behavior, like the magic eight ball, the dancing scenes, like the one that the one that I laughed the hardest was the nudie 40s stuff. He's like,
Oh, that's funny. That was an ADR line actually. Like we had to
Oh
redub.
yeah,
That was like when you see in the TV, and originally
yeah,
it was something different. It didn't land. It wasn't
yeah,
funny. So like we had like riffed it. We wrote out like
yeah.
50 different one-liners and then had him ADR all of them in post. And then that was the one for whatever
Stuck.
reason. So I'm glad that's so funny to hear that you liked
Yeah,
that line.
yeah. It just seemed so like the way he delivers it. It's like innocent, but then it's like, did he really just say that? Like that's such a weird thing to collect. It's like Pee Wee Herman, but like
yeah, yeah.
how did that all come to fruition? Because I know the casting had to have been a nightmare, but but he's so strong. Like I mean, I would even be down for like a Mick like prequel, just because it's such a there's so much that we don't know about him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, he is like the central guy in the movie, but it was actually like the easiest character to craft because I'm gonna drop something on you. This was actually based on a real person that I know.
I knew it. I knew it, man. Like, there's no way that he's not a real guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. So I had this barber in college. My producer, co-producer Jesse's not here right now. But he and I had this barber, and so he's actually like it's kind of loosely like my perspective is kind of like Billy. I'm not like Billy in every sense, but like my
Just
perspective and
like Kelly.
certain qualities. But
I can see it. I can see it.
great. And then Sonny is based on my friend Jesse, and then D was originally like another character name, but another friend of mine. We basically went to this barber shop that they took me to. And so most of the things that happened in Act One happened to me, like him leaving and going getting tacos, watching the movie. His kind of catchphrase was always he'd whisper perfection in your ear and like thumb around your ear and like get real close into your ear and like have that he looked like that guy, like Mick. He moved like him. He would put music on and dance around, like slap the floor and like do stuff like that. He was just very eccentric and very, like you were saying, you feel certain qualities about him feel endearing. Other times he feels dangerous and unpredictable. And I just wanted to like take that guy that we always had stories about from this barber shop where it was $7, there's no tax, no tip, no line, and he was really talented and just really strange. And I remember a friend of mine, I found the story out after we shot the movie, but he's like, yeah, like I went to this barber, and he's like, the first time I went in there, he like got right in my face and he said, "Can I touch you?" And like that's like the first thing he said to him. And he's like, "Yeah, I mean, you have to cut my hair, right?" And but just the way he said it, and the way he would go about things, such a magnetic personality that I just always thought he's such a character. Like this guy belongs in a movie. And so he was the catalyst for it. And then I'll let John speak about the casting part of Frankie Ray.
Yeah, so originally we had there were two other people, but we had some Kyle wrote for initially for a very particular kind of notable character actor, and we went to spend time with him in New York, and he's phenomenal. But after spending some time together, it just wasn't going to work out, unfortunately. And so then we had another actor out of Australia, also very notable character actor, and got a visa and took a lot of time and resources to get him over. And unfortunately, he's fine now, but he had like a major health issue.
Yeah.
Again, weeks before we were going to go into production. So getting Frankie was like right down to the wire.
3 weeks before we start to
Oh wow.
filming.
On top of not having a waiver yet,
Yeah,
and our lead actor wasn't, now we didn't have him anymore.
yeah.
So it was a wild ride the weeks leading up to shooting and the entire thing. But
So then Jesse, our co-producer, we were doing casting calls, looking around everywhere, backstage, IMDb
we
Pro.
discovered him.
Yeah, it was like Actors Access. So he put out a call on Actors Access and found his profile, Frankie's profile, sent us his demo, and we're like, man, this guy looks so similar. Like all he needs is the eyeliner and like the little pebble
Hmm.
gem thing on his cheek. Like that's what that if you put that and put him in the right outfit, this guy is the barber. And so we auditioned him and he was great. We're like, we just need to make sure. I mean, we knew he could act because he had a great demo, but put him in the audition and then we are like, yep, this is our guy, this is our guy. And then once we got him in wardrobe and did rehearsals and stuff and started shooting, it was like
Jackpot.
you just knew he had that he just had that aura that we needed for that character where he was like unintentionally funny, but creepy and scary and suspense. Like there was just so many qualities about him. He's just very complicated as a person and as a character that the things he brought to the character. So we just got really lucky in the end with him, you know?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more because like he's so absurd, but yet you just can't not wonder what he's going to do next. But
Yeah.
I guess to wrap up, guys, is ultimately what do you guys hope to get out of Fantastic Fest, and then like also to even taking a step further, what do you want audiences to get out of this film? Because I'm so happy, man. I can't tell you and thank you enough, Kyle, for sending this my way. Because like to be quite honest, man, I get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of emails, and not only the way that you like presented yourself and your film, it like really stood out to me. And then when I dug deeper, I just knew that like this was something special. So to
Thank
like build those expectations and then exceed them, it was such a pleasant like experience. So thank you so much.
Oh man, that means a lot. Thank you so much. That's really, really kind of you to say. I appreciate it.
Yeah, big
Um,
time.
what do you think about
Um,
expectations?
yeah, I mean, I'm excited to be at Fantastic Fest. We're stoked to be here. We've got some cast coming in and crew, and it's going to be a party. We're going to be having fun together. But just to be included is going to be awesome. And I mean, yeah, in terms of the festival itself, just we've done a couple of private test screenings in LA and Michigan, but to be at a place where there's moviegoers and people that are at it, to be at a film festival and have people that are there for a specific reason, who care and who have maybe strong opinion, whatever. Like, it's just kind of the thing, like to
Yeah.
sit in a full theater with people so it's like really exciting, sort of stressful, but exciting. And then, yeah, I just hope, like, I'm biased, we're biased, but like this has been like 4 years of our lives, like our hearts, blood, sweat, and tears, like our souls are in this movie. Like I love this movie. Like I believe in it so much, and I think it's unique and special. And I think it's unique in the sense that it has all these kind of strange things, It's funny, there's heart, it's scary, there's all this stuff. Like after all this time and all the struggles, and I just to be here, I just really hope people it's a roller coaster ride. It's fun that they get some scares and it's all those things, but in the end, it's like, man, that was like I want to see that. That was a lot of fun. Like that was an adventure. Like that was a roller coaster ride. Like I hope people really like can leave with a positive feeling. Like holy shit, this is crazy. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, my dream for it is we always talked about I'd love for this to become, and I know you can't like fabricate this, but want it to become kind of a cult classic movie. And our dream was always to have it where teenagers would want to put this on the weekend when they have their friends over and watch it, and that they would have this poster on their wall. Like we really wanted something that's like it became a piece of pop culture for like our this generation. Like we wanted it to be what Disturbia was for our generation, for this new generation. And I guess out of Fantastic Fest, my hope is just to be able to have people see it and have a reaction like yours, honestly, like to
Yeah.
it, where they love it and they just the word of mouth can spread it because ultimately, like our dream would be for it to go to movie theaters and have some sort of a moment in time, like the anomaly type stuff is what we always talk about, where we know it's the impossible kind of task to pull off a Napoleon Dynamite or something like any of these movies that come out, Talk to Me or whatever it might be, like that $100 million box office thing where everyone hears about it and it becomes this big thing that people love and adore. And that's kind of the ultimate vision up for it, like as big and grand as that sounds, that's kind of we've had to the whole time always shoot for the stars with everything. We're always told like that's not possible, that's not possible, whether it comes to making a movie like this, making a movie to begin with, but getting the cast that we got,
Composer that we got.
the
Yeah.
music stuff,
We didn't even
build.
touch on that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's just a million things. It's like you constantly have to push up against everyone telling you no and that it's not
We're
possible.
like used to it now.
So it's like we understand that things are not likely, but that doesn't mean it's not possible. And so we just keep the mindset that it is possible. We just have to, let's just take the steps as if it will happen. And then we'll do everything we can to the end. And then that's all we can do.
Well, I will say that the hard work is done. You guys should, at the very least, kind of enjoy yourselves because the movie it's fun and it's an experience and it's a roller coaster ride to take one from John's book. But at the end of the day, man, you guys are doing just fine. And here at CineDump, we let the doers know how they're doing. And you guys are doing just fine. But
Thank you.
I said that all wrong because I'm so into this film and I believe in you guys. And I think other once people sit down and watch this film, they'll see what I'm talking about. So best of luck. Thank you guys so much for your time, your film, and I think you both have a very bright future.
Thanks,
Thank
brother.
you. Well, again, it means so much. So
Yeah.
thank you for having us on and taking the time to watch it.
Yep.